The Silent Sentinels. The signal appeared on Dr. Ilana Chen's monitor at exactly 3:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. At first, she dismissed it as another glitch in the aging equipment at the Orespo Observatory successor facility. The Puerto Rican night was quiet except for the distant sounds of tropical wildlife and the soft hum of cooling fans in the observation center. "Come on, not again," she muttered, tapping commands to run a diagnostic. The signal persisted. Unlike typical astronomical phenomena, this pattern showed perfect mathematical regularity, prime numbers in sequence, repeating with metronomic precision. Ilana's heart rate quickened as she ran additional tests. Not equipment failure, not a satellite, not anything in their catalog of known signal sources. She reached for her phone with trembling fingers and dialed a number she'd memorized but never thought she'd use. "This is Dr. Chen at Arqiba. Activate protocol first contact. This is not a drill." Within hours, observatories across the planet confirmed her findings. Something was approaching Earth from deep space, broadcasting a signal clearly intended to be recognized as artificial. The object's velocity had decreased significantly upon entering the solar system, another indication of intelligent control. 3 days later, the object settled into Earth orbit, and the signal changed. Computer screens worldwide simultaneously displayed the same message, regardless of operating system or security protocols. "We have returned. Request diplomatic channel." In the hastily assembled United Nations emergency session in Geneva, representatives from major world powers argued over the proper response. The alien vessel, now visible through terrestrial telescopes as a sleek, opalescent craft approximately 1 kilometer in length, maintained its position in geosynchronous orbit over the Pacific. "We need more military assets in position," insisted General Victor Ramirez of the newly formed United Global Defense Command. "We must provoke them." "Absolutely not," countered Dr. Anastasia Volov, the Russian xenobiologist airlifted from her research station in Siberia. Seated between them, Ilana cleared her throat. As the discoverer of the signal, she'd been thrust into a diplomatic role she never wanted. "The message says they've returned," she said. "That suggests they've been here before." The room fell silent. When asked, Secretary General Okonkwo leaned forward. "That's what we need to ask them," Ilana replied. The first video transmission from the vessel arrived 24 hours later. The being on screen had a humanoid form but with distinct differences: skin with a faint blue luminescence, eyes larger and more widely spaced than the human norm, and 6-fingered hands. When it spoke, its mouth movements synchronized perfectly with words in multiple Earth languages simultaneously. "I am Ambassador Zara of the Lishan Collective. We come in peace to recover what our ancestors left behind. Our records indicate an outpost was established on your world approximately 30 millennia ago during an exploratory mission. Contact was lost. We have come to recover our technology and any surviving records." The revelation sent shock waves through human society. Religious institutions grappled with theological implications. Conspiracy theorists felt vindicated. Scientists scrambled to reconcile this new information with human evolutionary history. A delegation was assembled to meet with the aliens, officially called Lishans, in a neutral location constructed in international waters near Hawaii. Ilana herself boarded a military transport alongside dignitaries, scientists, and security personnel. The meeting facility was a marvel of rapid engineering, a floating platform with a transparent dome allowing both species to observe each other in a controlled environment. As the human delegation entered, 5 Lishans stood waiting. Their height, nearly 7 feet tall, made them imposing despite their slender builds. Ambassador Zara stepped forward. "Thank you for agreeing to this dialogue. We understand our arrival has been disruptive." "That's putting it mildly," General Ramirez muttered under his breath. Secretary General Okonkwo took the lead. "We are curious about your previous presence on Earth. Our historical records contain no mention of extraterrestrial contact. Your species was in its early developmental stages." Zara explained, "Pre-agricultural nomadic hunter-gatherers. Our protocols forbade direct interference with your evolution. Then why establish an outpost here at all? Ilana asked. Earth was selected as an observation post for this sector due to its biodiversity and stable orbit. A research team of 12 was stationed here to monitor developmental patterns across your planet's ecosystems. Their mission was extended when they discovered your species showing early signs of advanced cognitive development. Dr. Volov leaned forward. Where exactly was this outpost located? In what you now call northern Sudan, near the Nile Valley. The location was chosen for its proximity to several evolving primate species, including early humans. And what happened to the outpost? Asked Ambassador Zara. His expression shifted subtly. A solar flare of unexpected magnitude damaged our communication systems. The team was expected to maintain position until contact could be re-established. We underestimated the time this would require. 30,000 years is quite an underestimation, General Ramirez said. Our civilization experienced a period of significant disruption shortly after losing contact with Earth, Zara continued. Only in recent centuries have we rebuilt our deep space capabilities and begun the process of locating lost outposts. How many other outposts do you have on inhabited worlds? The general pressed. That information is not relevant to our current discussion, Zara replied smoothly. We seek only to recover what belongs to our people and depart without disruption. The second Lishan, introduced as Science Director Vex, activated a holographic display showing the region in Sudan. Our scans indicate the outpost remains largely intact, buried approximately 40 meters below the current surface. The area appears to be uninhabited desert at present. Secretary General Okonkwo nodded. We can arrange access for a recovery operation, provided our scientists may observe and document the process. Acceptable, Zara said. There is another matter, however. The hologram shifted to display various objects scattered across global locations. Our scans have detected Lishan technology in multiple locations, some integrated into your own technological infrastructure. The room grew tense. Are you suggesting we stole your technology? General Ramirez asked sharply. No, Zara replied. We believe these artifacts were deliberately distributed by our research team before they perished. However, the presence of quantum resonance patterns matching our technology in your computer systems, energy grids, and medical equipment suggests you have reverse-engineered these artifacts, perhaps without understanding their origins. Ilana's mind raced. Throughout human history, stories abounded of mysterious inspirations, dreams that led to scientific breakthroughs, ancient artifacts with unexplainable properties, mathematical insights that seemed to come from nowhere. The silicon microchip, she whispered, then spoke louder. The quantum computer breakthrough of 2019. The neural interface technology developed last decade, are you saying these all came from your artifacts? Science Director Vex inclined his head. Not directly. Your species made these discoveries through your own ingenuity. However, the foundational principles were likely inspired by exposure to our technology. This is unexpected, most species require millions of years to develop such technologies independently. The third Lishan, who had not yet spoken, stepped forward. I am Security Commander TK. The technology in question was never intended for adoption by a pre-spacefaring civilization. This creates complications. General Ramirez stood straighter. What kind of complications? The artifacts contain quantum-entangled components linked to our central networks. As your systems have integrated derivatives of our technology, you have inadvertently created pathways into both our systems and your own. This presents security concerns for both our civilizations. The implication hung in the air, Earth's most critical systems might be vulnerable through connections no one knew existed. Equally concerning, humans had apparently reverse-engineered alien technology so effectively that the Lishans now viewed them as a potential security threat. We propose a joint team, Zara said into the silence. Your experts working with ours to locate all Lishan artifacts on Earth and safely disentangle your systems from ours. Secretary General Okonkwo looked troubled. We will need to consult with our respective governments. As the meeting concluded, Ilana found herself walking alongside Science Director Vex toward the exit. May I ask a personal question, she said. You may, Vex replied. Your people watched mine when we were still learning to control fire. Now you've returned to find us splitting atoms and creating artificial intelligence. Are you afraid of what we've become? Vex studied her with those large, luminous eyes. Fear is not the correct emotion. Concerned, perhaps. Fascination, certainly. A pause. In 30 millennia, your kind has accomplished what took most species, including ours, hundreds of thousands of years. We do not yet understand how this was possible. Maybe, Ilana suggested, it's because we've always had to figure things out for ourselves. Vex made a sound that might have been a laugh. Indeed. Perhaps the absence of guidance was your greatest advantage. As she left the facility, Ilana glanced back at the alien vessel hovering above them in the distance. The silent sentinels had returned only to find their observers had become something unexpected, something that might now be beyond their control. The quantum inheritance. The Sudan desert shimmered under the merciless sun as the joint human-Lishan expedition established their base camp. A temporary city of advanced composite structures surrounded the excavation site, populated by scientists, engineers, and security personnel from both species. Dar. Ilana Chen wiped sweat from her brow as she reviewed 3D scans of what lay beneath the sand and rock. The Lishan outpost was remarkably intact, a dome structure approximately 50 meters in diameter. Its outer shell had resisted 30 millennia of geological pressure. Incredible preservation, she said to no one in particular. The outer shell is self-repairing at the molecular level, explained Turan, a junior Lishan scientist assigned as her liaison. Unlike most of his kind, Turan seemed genuinely interested in human perspectives. Although it appears the power systems failed approximately 29,400 years ago, he added with a solemn nod. That means your team survived for 600 years after losing contact. And then, she pressed. And then they would have implemented final directive protocols, Turan said quietly. When facing certain death on a developing world, all knowledge must be secured or destroyed to prevent contamination of indigenous evolution. Ilana thought that contamination had indeed occurred. The discovery of Lishan artifacts across Earth had accelerated as more scientists learned what to look for, a peculiar geometrical object found in a cave in South Africa, a crystalline device recovered from an Irish peat bog, microscopic structures in ancient Chinese pottery that resembled modern nanocircuitry. Most disturbingly, several major technology companies had confirmed finding uncanny parallels between their proprietary designs and Lishan components. The quantum computing revolution that transformed Earth's technology over the past decade, she mused, showed particular parallels. We're ready to open the main chamber, called Dr. Hassan Biki, the archaeological team leader. Ilana joined the observation group as specialized equipment, a hybrid of human and Lishan design, delicately cut through the final layer separating them from the outpost's interior. As the barrier dissolved, air hissed outward. The ancient facility had maintained partial pressure for 30 millennia. Lights activated automatically as they entered, responding to Lishan biosignatures. The space revealed itself as a laboratory and living quarters combined, remarkably similar to modern research stations, despite its age. 3 suspension pods stood against one wall, their transparent surfaces were frosted with age but intact. Science Director Vex moved to the pods, examining their displays. As suspected, he said without emotion, life support failure approximately 29,400 years ago. His posture conveyed respect for the long-dead researchers. Ilana found herself drawn to a central console, where holographic displays flickered to life in response to Vex's presence. Symbols scrolled rapidly, a data dump activated by the return of compatible technology. They left a message. Vex stabilized the image. A recording of a Lishan female appeared, signs of age evident in her features. I am lead researcher Nilera, final survivor of Outpost Terra. If you are viewing this, our civilization has endured. The others entered final suspension 83 cycles ago. Power systems are failing. Before joining them in rest, I have made a decision that violates our primary directive. The recording showed Nil-Era moving to another console, activating systems. The indigenous precursors of this world show remarkable potential. Their cognitive architecture is uniquely suited to innovative problem-solving, unlike any species we have encountered. They lack our longevity and systematic approach, but their neuroplasticity and adaptive reasoning are extraordinary. I believe they may someday achieve technological parity with our civilization, but their developmental timeline suggests this would require hundreds of thousands of years. I have distributed research modules across regions showing early human settlement patterns. Each contains basic principles of Lishan technology, encoded to become gradually accessible as understanding evolves. This is not direct interference, they must still develop the science themselves, but it will accelerate their progress. I do this not knowing what they may become, but believing in what they could be. The message ended. The room fell silent. Your world has been given our knowledge, Security Commander TK said, voice tight with something like anger. Deliberately accelerating your development by orders of magnitude. General Ramirez, who had observed silently until now, stepped forward. Everything we built ourselves, based on principles you should not have discovered for thousands of generations. TK countered, do you understand the implications? Your species developed nuclear weapons before you fully understood your own biology. You created global communication networks while still burning fossil fuels. You achieved space travel while the climate crisis raged. We've managed, Dr. Beakey said defensively. Have you seen the headlines? A data screen displayed Earth news, climate protests, resource conflicts, political tensions. Before the argument could escalate, warning alarms blared from the Lishan equipment. Vex moved swiftly to a console, hands dancing over controls. Multiple quantum resonance cascades detected. Automated recovery systems have been triggered. What does that mean? The general demanded. Turan explained, every piece of our technology on your planet is suddenly trying to phone home. The energy surge could overload power grids and communication networks globally. Reports flooded in, power fluctuations in major cities, communications disruptions, computer systems spontaneously rebooting or failing. Can you shut it down? Secretary General Okonkwo asked over the emergency channel. The protocols were designed to be irreversible, Vex said. A security measure to prevent our technology from being captured and misused. Ilana studied the data flowing across the screens, recognizing patterns similar to her work in signal processing. What if we redirect the resonance, create a controlled feedback loop that would require processing capacity beyond what we have available? General Ramirez made a call. This is Ramirez. Activate the quantum array network at full capacity, routed through Dr. Chen's authorization. Within minutes, Ilana had access to Earth's combined quantum computing resources, a distributed network more extensive than the Lishans had realized humans possessed. Your quantum technology is more advanced than our scans indicated, Vex observed, watching her work. We've been busy, Ilana replied, fingers flying over interfaces. Turan, I need you to translate these Lishan protocols. We need to create a harmonic counterresonance. Working together, human and Lishan scientists established a new network architecture, one that allowed the ancient artifacts to connect without destabilizing Earth's infrastructure. As they did, something unexpected happened. The combined system began solving problems neither team had programmed, optimizing itself in ways neither civilization had achieved independently. It's creating a hybrid architecture, Turan said, amazement clear in his voice. Using strengths from both our approaches. For 72 hours, teams worked without rest to stabilize the global situation. When it was finally resolved, representatives from both species gathered in the outpost's central chamber. This incident demonstrates the danger of your continued possession of derivative Lishan technology, Security Commander TK argued. We must extract all artifacts and remove all influence from your world. That's impossible, Dr. Beaky countered. Your technology has been integrated into ours for generations. You'd have to dismantle our entire technological civilization. Perhaps that would be safer for the galaxy, TK suggested. General Ramirez stepped forward, tension evident in his posture. We will not surrender technology we developed ourselves. Influenced or not, we have as much right to it as you do. Ambassador Zera raised a hand for silence. There is another perspective to consider. He turned to a holographic display showing the hybrid network architecture. What we witnessed during the crisis was unprecedented. Your species adapted our principles in ways we never considered. The integration created solutions neither civilization would have developed alone. Our directive regarding pre-spacefaring civilizations assumes they require protection and guidance, Zera continued. But perhaps researcher Nilera saw something we have forgotten to see. Potential takes many forms. He turned to face the human delegation. We propose a new arrangement, a formal exchange of knowledge and partnership in recovering the remaining artifacts, not to remove your access to them, but to ensure they are safely integrated. Secretary General Okonkwo looked skeptical. And what would you gain from this arrangement? Science Director Vex answered, your perspective, your unpredictable innovation. In 30,000 years, you have taken basic principles from our technology and developed applications we never imagined. Imagine what our civilizations might accomplish together. The tension in the room gradually shifted to cautious possibility. Later, as the formal agreements were being drafted, Ilana found Ambassador Zera studying Nilara's recorded message again. You know what's fascinating, she said. He broke your most sacred rule because she believed in us, creatures who could barely make stone tools. And she was right. Zera's expression was contemplative. Our histories teach that Nilera was considered brilliant but eccentric. She specialized in evolutionary potential theory, the science of predicting what species might become. None of her colleagues believed her models showing accelerated development paths were possible. Why did she believe in us so strongly? Ilana asked. Perhaps, Zera said, she recognized something in your kind that we had lost in our own, the drive to overcome impossible odds, to find solutions where none should exist. We have no direct translation for this concept in our language. As Ilana left the ancient outpost that evening, she looked up at the stars, the same stars that had shone down when humans were just beginning their journey. A forgotten alien researcher had seen potential in those early humans and made a choice that altered humanity's destiny. Now, 30 millennia later, those same humans stood ready to join the civilization that had unknowingly guided them, not as students or subjects, but as equals who had taken borrowed knowledge and transformed it through the uniquely human gift of adaptive innovation. The silent sentinels had returned to find not the primitive descendants of those they once observed, but partners who would challenge them to see the universe through new eyes.